Hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the man cave. Alright, we're going to be doing the assembly of the FLYFANS MIG-25 FOXBAT, and we're going to kind of break this up into segments. You're going to have to glue on, the model doesn't come with the instructions, so it's not a hard. You're going to have to start off by gluing in your vertical stabilizers. So what we're going to do now, I've already taken the liberty of taking my knife and scoring up the bottom of each of the vertical, well I didn't do this, yeah I did, the vertical stabilizers, score them, and then I've already done the one side. What I do is I score it with a knife, just make little cuts. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm just making just little cuts in there, okay? Just little cuts. And then, because there's so much paint on there, because you gotta remember, you try to get as close to foam as you can. So I'm just taking a simple little soft, spongy sanding block, and I'm just roughing up this surface to get as much paint off there as I can. And this is all going to be covered by glue anyways. So you're not going to be seeing, this is all going to be hidden. So you're not going to see it. And, but, you know, I'd rather take the time to do this right. And, I mean, you're not doing a beautiful job. You're just kind of scuffing it up a little bit, just enough to give surface area for that glue to adhere to. This is why I make such a mess in here. Like I say, and see, that's just all I'm doing. I'm just roughing that surface up. Now, but understand, I'm fixing to connect, right? Now, this is just bare wire running through. I'm not too worried about that wire, but I want to make sure before I permanently hook up my horizontal stabilizer, I want to make sure that this servo is working, okay? So it's just a good idea to have yourself a servo tester handy to make your world a lot nicer. You'll get power to it though, okay? Okay. All right. Now you want to go ahead and test your servo and make sure that that puppy is working. And there, looky there. All right, I know that one's working because I'd hate to permanently hook that up only to find the servo's bad, you know, and now you're stuck. Oh, it helps if you plug it in the servo tester the correct way. Alright, so we know that that is done. Alright, now you're thinking, well, that's fine. You're going to hook it up. How are you going to put them vertical stabilizers? I'm going to actually use hot glue. Specifically Gorilla brand hot glue. Not the cheap stuff. This is the Gorilla brand. I like Gorilla glue when I want something to, you know, in place of, sometimes I'll use what you call it, epoxy. But I have found over time that Gorilla Glue works just as well. The only drawback is you don't have as much time to work. Okay, so let's get ourselves a little organized here. And that was that little section there, that chapter was preparing your surface for glue for your tail section. So we'll be right back with the next chapter. Okay, we're back. What would be chapter 3? First part was getting it ready, get the foam ready, and then section 2, chapter 2 was actually putting on the verticals, which are on there now. This would be chapter number 3. Chapter 3, I'm saying this so I can put chapters in the video. And that's installing your horizontal stabilizers. Now this has 2mm hex drive is what you're going to need. Probably the longest grub screw I've ever seen. And I put a lot of models together. You can look around. But look at how long, but they're already installed. But look how long that grub screw is. Sucker's really long, so I'll leave that off to the side. I've already done the other side, okay? You just take that grub screw out, because it's going to be that little notch there in the middle. That's what's going to ride onto. You just kind of have to shove it in there. Okay, now it's there. Now here is the first design flaw. Look at where that. Let me take it back. I want to show you something. Look at where that ball link is. Okay, has a tiny little screw, and it's meant to go on this side. I would much rather have this ball link on the outside, but that's not the way they have it. So I'm going to run with it. Okay. But these particular ball links do look like they're a little more substantial than what they put on the SU-27. Now the way you can tell, well, it's tightened up enough, it should be enough. Well, I guess that makes sense. If you put it on the outside, then you would have way too much travel, and that gives a little bit of a break there, and that's definitely more than enough deflection. When you have a little bit, you can feel just a tiny bit of resistance. I mean, not much. That's when you know you're tight enough. You're just enough to keep... Oh, let's see, that one's wanting to come off, so I didn't get enough. We'll get it down in there. You can kind of tell when it hits bottom. It can still come out. Come on. Oh, not in there. I have to check the other side too. This again. Alright, let me pause while I figure this out and I'll tell you what happened. Alright, you just simply have to crank that down in there. You just keep cranking that grub screw. Let me just get it where you can see it. That grub screw there, you gotta keep, well, hold on. See that grub screw is? Right there. You just got to keep cranking that down where it actually goes below that ring. And when you feel it bottom out and you cannot pull this off, you know you're good. So that's that. Sorry about having to jerk the camera around. But they're not coming off of there. All right. Now, here's what I don't like about this design, because you're going to have to get it right. You're going to have to measure it from the get-go. Okay? I'm going to hook to the outermost throw here, and then I'm going to hook up my ball link. I want my ball link, when I've got that hooked up, I want that even. See this foam structure here? I want this to be perfectly even. So I got to get it right at the get-go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, get my head in your face. Sorry. Okay. You may have to hollow out the hole on the control arm a little bit. But I just want to get it in there for now. Feels like pretty stout servo there. Alright, come on. Alright, let me pause while I get that in there. Alright. Get yourself these little vice drills. They're just little pin drills. There's nothing to them. Okay, I want to say $8-9 on Amazon. I've had this for years. So, and I just go in there and I just kind of hollow out that servo arm hole to where I can get my push rod in there much easier. See, now I just slid right in. But what I was trying to make the point is I'm going to hook this up, and I want this to be level here. So when I hook up that control arm there on that ball link, I kind of have to get it right the first time. Because you see, now if I set that on that ball link and hook that up, line it up with all that surface, you see how it's down some? So that means I need to shorten it. Okay, keep it at 90 degrees. The whole flat hole is 90 degrees with the peg on the end, whatever that part's called. I'll put that back in that outer hole because that's where I want to put it. Okay. Kind of line it up on the hole. Kind of pressure on, put your finger on it, kind of hold it in place, and then you're going to kind of line it up. Okay. Yeah, we've got to go further in, so I need to make that a lot shorter. There's no instructions that tell me, and I need to have a little bit of up deflection by default. Lots of times these kind of planes do, but I can always adjust that with electric trim. Okay. All right, we're getting there. We are getting there. Except now, no, dumb man, I need to go out. Stuh. The other direction. But be careful how much you go out because you want to still have good grab. I know y'all are probably sitting going, you know, we put this together too. Don't you need to go out to make that further out? Alright, now that is getting there. A couple more turns out. Still got plenty of, it's still hooked up good. So, what I might do, okay, now that's actually just a little too much. All right, anyway, this is what you have to go through. Take your time to get it right. All right, I went too far. Well, anyways, I'm going to fill this back and forth. And I'll show you. Okay, that's pretty close. But that's pretty close to where you're going to want. I'm going to raise this up just a little bit more. But I'll show you the end result, and I'll go ahead and do the other side. All right, I continued on and just kept adjusting those clevises in and out before I made the final attach point because I don't want to run the risk of popping off that ball link. I don't want to mess that ball link up. But they can only take adjustments so many times. But now you can see, got plenty of throws, and they're nice, and they're in there. So I don't have to worry about that. Now, this is a kind of a tedious design, but it's a solid design, so that's good. All right, so the tail's done completely. We're going to unplug our little servo tester I got going here. Okay. All right, now we can move on to the wing. So we'll combine the rest of that with the wing. All right. Now, before we go any further with the wing, even though I can easily take the wing back off again if I have issues, let's go ahead just for fun. Let's go ahead and test these servos. Okay, back the camera up just a touch so you can see what I'm doing down here. Okay. All right. Hook up my. This is probably the lead and the flap and the LED. No, it's the aileron and the LED, and they both work. So I saw the light over there. Take that, set that off to the side. And let's check. Oh, I didn't check the flap. Duh. Okay, we'll do that real quick. Okay, that's the light in the aileron, and the long one that doesn't have the Y on it is going to be the flap. But let's go ahead and. Okay, we know it works. So that wing is good to install. We check the flap, which is the long lead. This doesn't have a label on it. It's not hooked up with the Y. Okay. Y. Oh, okay, and it works. All right, so now, here's where you're going to want to take a pair of pliers. Grab your, should have two There's another one in there. You're going to want to fish that other one out. Of course, I don't have the tool that I want. All right, you're going to fish both of them out. Now, this is where it's important. You need to know what you got here. Okay. No. Channel 1. The one that says channel 1 on it is going to be aileron, and the other one says channel 6. Okay. So put your spar through. Okay. Now take your wing. Make sure you take the correct wing. Okay. There's going to be the star side or the servo side down. Okay. We know that the one back here, it says channel 1 on it. I'm going to hook up that's got my light and aileron. Okay. Because channel 1 is almost always ailerons. And flap would definitely be 6 because channel 5 would be gear. All right. White to white, dark to dark. It's always that way. Light to light, dark to dark. No matter what kind of servo it is, what brand, polarity is always the lightest color connects to the lightest color and the darkest color to the darkest color. Okay, but brown, black, I've seen dark gray. Okay, you're going to want to fish all that in there. It can be kind of tedious. Trying to keep this video down to 3 days long instead of 10 days long. And fish in your carbon spar if you can. Okay. You want to make sure that you fish all. There's plenty of room there. I'd rather it go into the fuselage than into the wing because I'm probably going to pull the wires forward, so there'll be more room. But slide your wings on there, making sure you're fishing everything, and you know what I'm doing, so you don't really have to show you. That goes right in there. Make sure you don't have any pinched wires, nothing poking out. Okay. All right. That wing should be on there. Now we're going to do my little wing trick. I'm going to attach that wing. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of not wanting to seat real tight there. So we're going to have to, might have to fight with one. I suggest making sure, because you can kind of see how that plastic kind of lines up in there. And you can kind of tell when you're in the right channel. So that's in the right channel there. Okay. I may have to push up on it a little bit using my leg. If you can get one started and locked in, then you can use it as a pivot point to get the other one in there. Doesn't fit, the wing doesn't fit very tightly in there. All right, hopefully. It has 2mm hex drive. So you can see there's a little bit of gap. You can kind of see that, but that's minor. That's a minor thing. Definitely not a deal breaker. I mean, if you wanted to, you could get some gray putty or something, I guess, and fill that in. But then you're just going to, lock in your wing. It is meant to be able to take your wing off. All right, might have to get in front of you here. Sorry. I'm going to try to press in a little bit. Get that started. See, I don't want to press too hard over here because I'm going to break off that bomb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of squeeze the wing with my hand here. I'm using that back bolt as a pivot. Has a definite bottoming out point. Okay. Now that's on there. Okay. I mean, it's on there. So now we can repeat the same process on the other side, which is nothing to do. All right, we'll come over here. We'll fish out our wires. Remember, channel 1 is your aileron. Channel 6 is what the other one is labeled. That would be your flap. Okay, let's get a hold of that. Just helps to have all your little tools handy. All right, did I identify it? Okay, which one's which? Which one is which? When you know that little tag is in the way, it's not as turned with the Chinese writing side up. That's why I'm having a hard time. Channel. Come on. Channel 1. Okay, so this one, as long as you identify one, you know what the other one is. Okay, so you take the channel 1, which is the one that's got the little pigtail on, that controls the light. Paying attention to my polarity. In this case, the light side's down the way I'm holding the connector together. Should feel a little, it should kind of have a little pop in there. And I know the other one, so paying attention to polarity, is going to be my flap. Light to light, dark to dark. You know, you'd be surprised how many times I've said that, light to light, dark to dark, and I'm filming, putting the video together, and I hook it up wrong. Just, I guess, the power of suggestion. Alright, this is where the quick connects would be awesome, but you know what? You can't have everything. And we're not talking about a $700 model here. Okay, just make sure nothing's pinched. That's the biggest thing. You don't want anything pinched or binding together. Okay, I like using that rear. You get no extra screws, so don't lose. You only get 4. Keep up with them. That's why I highly recommend these magnetic trays. You do get extra ball link close. I like that, because on the SU-27 it had very poor ball links on the elevator, and I actually had to go in there and drill it out and put a different screw in, but it ain't coming out now. That elevator ain't coming off now. But that is not a deal breaker. Okay, you can easily go online, go to DeBros, spend $6-7 and get you some really nice ball links. Yeah, you shouldn't have to do that, but sometimes that happens. That particular plastic mold may have not had the best quality to it. You know, they look at okay, there's your ball links, they throw it in the bag, you got them. Or they glue it on, you know. Get that lined up. Once you get that one, you can kind of pivot back on that one. You have to really handle this one. Come on. All right, well, let me fight with this for a little bit, and we'll be right back. I'm just trying to get that screw to line up right. All right, all I did was I had to squeeze the wing on the plastic part here, really get it lined up, squeeze in here, and now it's going in. And believe it or not, that's a good sound. And let me tell you something. A tight fitting model is a good flying model. All right, now have that on there. Put on your nose cone. Okay. Put on your top hatch. And that completes the basic build of the FLYFANS MIG-25 FOXBAT. And I cannot wait to fly this. All goes well, I'll have this in the air tomorrow. It's 3 a.m. on Saturday morning, and I'm hoping to fly this Saturday afternoon. But looks really good. And it does. This one, I said this one felt cheap. This one doesn't feel cheap. Oh, and look, all this in, yeah, $400 80mm Futura from FMS. You know, and it's got just bare foam on the inlet. This, a $300 FLYFANS, you know, not one of the big main brands, but they're trying, and they have covered this with hard plastic. That, come on, FMS. Don't rely on your name. You got to keep up the quality in order to keep customers. Well, folks, thank you for watching. That was the build section, or the assembly, really, of the FLYFANS F20 or MIG-25 FOXBAT. The next video you'll see from me on this one will be the radio setup, and that'll be coming up next. God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends. And Banana Hobby, thank you for the plane. Yes, I had to pay you for it. That's fine. I'm glad to have it. Maybe we'll start a partnership or something. All right, y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.